Hello again, friends and neighbors. It's Stuart Payne from Read 20 and the Readmobile, and I've got another story for you today. Now, if you've been watching these stories, you've heard me go on and on about the power of words and ideas. So today's story is about just that. It is called, What Do You Do with an Idea? This is part of a series of wonderful stories by Kobi Yamada. So let's jump right in. What do you do with an idea? One day, I had an idea. Now, where did it come from? And why is it here? I wondered. What do you do with an idea? At first, I didn't think much of it. It seemed kind of strange and fragile. I didn't know what to do with it, so I just walked away from it. I acted like it doesn't belong to me. But it followed me, this idea that looks kind of like an egg with legs and a crown. And it's also a little more colorful than everything else around. But I worried about what others would think. What would people say about my idea? So I kept it to myself. I hid it away and didn't talk about it. I tried to act like everything was just the same as it was before my idea showed up. But there was something magical about my idea. I had to admit I felt better and happier when it was around. But it wanted food. It wanted to play. Actually, it wanted a lot of attention. And it started to grow bigger. And we became friends. Then I showed it to other people, even though I was afraid of what they would say. Yeah, I was afraid that if people saw it, they would laugh at it. I was afraid they would think it was just silly. And many of them did. They said it was no good. They said it was too weird. They said it was just a waste of time and that it would never become anything. And at first I believed them. I actually thought about giving up on my idea. I almost listened to them. But then I realized, what do they really know? This is my idea, and nobody knows it like I do. And it's okay if it's different and weird and maybe a little crazy. And I decided to protect it and to care for it. And I fed it good food and I worked with it and played with it. But most of all, I gave it my attention. And my idea grew and grew. And so did my love for it. I built it a new house, one with an open roof where it could look up to the stars. A place where it could be safe to dream. I liked being with my idea because it made me feel more alive, like I could do anything. It encouraged me to think big and then to think bigger. It shared its secrets with me, and it showed me how to walk on my hands because, it said, it's good to have the ability to see things differently. Indeed. And after a while, I couldn't imagine my life without it. And then one day something amazing happened. My idea changed right before my eyes. It spread its wings and took flight, and it burst into the sky. And I don't know how to describe it, but it went from being here to being everywhere. And it wasn't just a part of me anymore. It was now a part of everything. And then I realized what you do with an idea. You change the world. The end. All right. I haven't read this book in a while, but as I'm reading it now, what pops into my mind is 10 great ideas that we know as the Bill of Rights. These were thoughts and ideas that people were having, about 240 years ago, when the people on this continent were being ruled by the British Empire, and they weren't too happy about it. So they started to imagine, what kind of government would we create if we could create our own government? And after lots of discussion and wrangling, they came up with a constitution designed to create a new government that is not ruled by a king like George III, but is instead run by the people who are going to choose their leaders, who are going to follow this blueprint we call the Constitution. And before they could get everyone to agree and sign off on this new form of government, they came up with 10 things that had to be in it that were not in it yet. And we call those 10 things the Bill of Rights. They start with the freedom of speech, the freedom of religious worship, and the freedom to get together and petition your government to remedy the problems that we find in our society. And it was these ideas that crystallized this new form of government in this new nation we call the United States of America. It's never been pretty, it's always been kind of messy, but that's what democracy is all about. So yes, it's these big ideas like democracy and human rights that have changed this world for the better. And you can find all of those ideas in these wonderful things that we call books with stories. So take a little time every day to read some of these books and stories with your children, and they will understand the world that we occupy just a little bit better. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.